Okay, so the first thing that you'll see is we have the phone call here is our counter. So we've been on this phone call for 1 minute and 15 seconds here. If I wanted to hang up on this phone call, I can simply hit this X and that will disconnect our phone call. If I'd like to transfer, park the call, or put the call on hold, my options are also here. So let's go through each one of these. Let's go to transfer first. Now if I click transfer, it will pop up and I can simply, if I know the person's extension that I'd like to transfer this call to, I can simply type it in here and go ahead and hit transfer, and off that will go. You can also, as you can see here, I can press enter to transfer the call, or I can put a slash to transfer to a voicemail. Now, so I've selected Jeff, which is extension 108, or the other options that you have is you can also click over here in the address book and you can find everybody. And if you are unaware of what their extension number is and so forth, there's lots of different ways to do many of these different things, and whichever one you're most comfortable with, certainly go that direction. Okay, so that's how to go ahead and use the transfer function. Now I'm actually going to cancel out of this because I'm not going to transfer that way. I'm going to show you another way to transfer, which is fast and easy, but this is also what we call a blind transfer. So this does not give us the opportunity to be able to announce the phone call, but if we simply click on this phone call, hold it down, and drag it over to the person that we want to transfer that phone call to, that we can then do. So we just drag and drop it. We'll send this off onto Jeff and transfer that call right on over to Jeff. So now it's out of our call window and the phone call is now complete and sent off to Jeff. Okay, so now that we've shown you how to do a blind transfer off to another extension or user, let's show you how to do a live transfer or an assisted transfer. Okay, so we're going to receive an incoming call here, and just one quick note, as you can see here, if you mouse over this on an incoming call, you can actually click to send that to voicemail, transfer it, or we're going to go ahead and just click this and we're going to answer that phone call off of our phone here. So now we've got this incoming call from Gina, and Gina would like to be transferred off to Cherish. So what we're going to do is we're actually just going to put this call on hold and say, hold for a moment please, and we'll put that call on hold, and then we're going to place a call and just drag and drop Cherish over here into this window. At that point we're now talking to Cherish, and she has indicated that she would like to take this phone call from Gina. What we do is simply right click on the call from Gina, and then here are our different options that are available to us. So if we want to go ahead and transfer it, we just hit transfer. If we want to, again, this is a little bit redundant, transfer to Cherish, that's certainly what we would be doing, and so we could hit that. Or if for some reason she says, you know what, I just can't take him right now, can you send him to my voicemail, then I can right click here and this will send to user voicemail. We also obviously have the option to create a conference here, but in this example we are just going to transfer this directly off to Cherish, and so by clicking that, now the call has been completed. We were able to announce and talk to Cherish first, and now we have completed that supervised transfer. Okay, so I'm going to generate another phone call here, and let's go back. We'll go ahead and we'll click this answer, and we're going to go back and just cover a couple of these other options here. So there's a difference in between a parked call and a call that you would put on hold. To put the call on hold, simply click the hold button here. To retrieve it back off of hold, you can click the retrieve, and you can go back and forth on and off of hold very easily here. But the difference between hold and park is essentially if you put a call on hold, that will stay on hold on your phone only, where a parked call is essentially like a system hold, to where if I click this park key, it will assign it to a park number, and then up here in the parking lot I can see that it was parked on park 1, and then I can essentially see every person and everybody that's ever parked a call or has a call parked at the same time here in this display window, and then I could click on the call that I want to pick up and hit pick up. So it essentially allows anybody from anywhere to pick up a phone call that has been parked. So again, hold is for your personal use and to leave it on hold on your phone, but when you want to park a call, simply park it, click the park button, and then come here, click on the call that you want and hit pick up, and that will pull that call back to you. Then I can now close that park window. So very simple to take a call and put it on hold and off of hold, as well as park and pick up a parked call. Okay, so now that we've indicated and shown you how to answer and transfer and hold and park, I'm going to go ahead and answer this phone call, and let's actually show you how to do a conference call now. Okay, so the first step in doing a conference call, there's a couple different ways to set it up, but we're going to show you a live setup of a conference call, is to go ahead and up here in the conference section, you could click conference and then conference itself, or you can go ahead and hit right click, which is my typical method that I like to use, and I can hit create conference. What that does is essentially now creates a conference, and we have a conference ID number, and the person I was talking to has now been joined into that conference. What I now do is I say, okay, now I want to go out and grab somebody else, so I'm going to put this call on hold, and while on hold I'm going to go off and let's add Cherish into this conference call. So we'll call Cherish's extension, and once she answers, I'll indicate that I would like to add her to this conference call. Then I can simply click on her, drag her up into our conference call, and drop, and now both of us are here and in the conference call. Over here on the right hand side, you can see that I have this little microphone type button, and if I click on these, I can actually mute those individuals one at a time, on and off. And if I choose and say, oh, Cherish, I don't need you part of this call anymore, I can actually click on an individual person and terminate them out of the conference call as well. So that's how to set up and create a live conference call. And now we'll go ahead, and once we're done with that call, just one other note real quick while I'm thinking about it, is that right here in this section, if I wanted to click on this, this would actually record our call. And for those of you that may not be familiar with the call recording on the Zultys, it's phenomenal in that it's DVR style, and if I click this button, it will actually go all the way back to the beginning of the call and have our entire call recorded. So another quick little note that's available there. I'll go ahead and terminate, and that's how you set up a conference call. Alright, so now that we've shown you how to do an internal conference call and add somebody else that's in your buddy list and group, I want to show you how to do an external conference call. So I'm going to answer this first person again. I will right click to create my conference and initiate the conference. And now to add an external party, rather than drag and drop them over like we did last time, I'm going to come up here into this section. I'm going to click on the new call, and I'm going to type in a number and go ahead and hit call, and that will initiate my second phone call off to that user. Once that person answers that phone call, then you'll now see that I have all of my available options: record, transfer, park, and hold. But what I want to do is actually just join them to the conference, so I'm just going to click on this, say, hey, I'm going to add you in here, and drag and drop them up into here, into this section. And now I have my internal person of Gina that I first was talking to, along with an external person that I'm now talking to, and all of the same options for mute and disconnect, just like I had before. So very simple to add in conference and conference users. The number of people that you can add into a conference call will be dependent upon the licensing that's on your system. So we would advise you to contact your administrator to see the total number of licenses that have been purchased and available on your system today. Okay, so now that we're done with conference, let's take a look down here at the bottom, because you'll probably notice that we actually have received a couple missed calls down here, and I have a missed call from Gina. So this now shows up, and if I click on that, up here in this section will now show all the different missed calls. So incoming, outgoing, and and so forth from these different users, and then if I want to, I can actually even just right click and I can call that person back or place a call to Cherish and so forth, copy the number and those types of things. Typically you're just clicking to call back, and it's a nice easy way to just connect right back to that person. That will show your call log for all calls, for internal and external. The other place that your missed calls, once you've closed that down, the other place that you'll see your missed calls or your call log is up here, available in the log, right next to the park, which we've already covered. Let's go ahead and I'll just briefly bring up the log again. You can expand this and see more information and so forth, scroll through that log. And then the log will actually store and save according to your settings that are in your preferences that we'll show you a little bit later, as well as what the administrators indicated for how long we store the call log. So let's go across these while we're at it. Over here we have the park and the parking lot over here in this section. No calls in park currently. We have the log, which we just completed looking at. Next is the address book, which we've already looked at. One thing is that if you do have and use Outlook, you can actually synchronize your contacts, and you can come over here and click local address book if you have those, and it will synchronize all of your contacts, and all of your Outlook contacts would be located in this section. After that, we have our voicemail access, and let's go on into voicemail. Alright, so now as we hop over into voicemail, there's a couple ways to get in there. I can either click on this section and get into my voice, fax, and my call recordings, or you can see down here that I have a new voicemail message, and so I could click on it either direction. Since we're going across this bar, I'm going to just go ahead and click on voicemail in this section here. You'll notice over here on the left hand side that I have all of my different types of messages. So I have my messages, my call recordings, my deleted items, my fax. If you've been enabled by your administrator to receive incoming faxes, they would show up here in this inbox. My outgoings, my sent faxes, and then I have my inbox for my actual voicemail itself. Over here on the right hand side, I definitely have the users and who sent me. So this voicemail came from Cherish. It was received on this specific date and time, the length, and so forth as we go across. And then I can see all the others that I've already listened to within the message. Now, one thing you can also do, and the one thing that I enjoy doing, is actually just going in, and as I listen to that message, I'll actually just type a note, call from Cherish about service or something like that, and then that note actually will just transfer over here, and you can actually see, and I'll just make this, but right in this little comment section is where this note will show up. So it's very helpful and beneficial for you to be able to see very quickly what those calls were and who they were about, if you'll train yourself to just add a little note as you go through that. Now, just another side note quickly is that some of you will actually decide that you would prefer not to have your voicemails show up in this application, but they will actually just show up directly into your Outlook or your other applications where you receive your email, and we'll show you a little bit later on exactly how to do that, so that if you would prefer not to receive them here, you can just pick them up over there. One last thing as we're in this section is over here in this section, if we are part of these other groups, the supervisor group or agent groups and so forth, if we have rights to see those mailboxes, then we would actually see those options, their fax and inbox and those types of things underneath here. But since we don't have the rights, there's nothing to see. So that we'll cover there in the messages section and the inbox. One last piece that we'll indicate here is if you want to go into your voicemail settings to record additional greetings and so forth, you would access those here. If you would prefer to play, because maybe you're in an office space where playing it over your sound card or your speakers on your computer is not the best idea, and you would prefer to play it over your physical phone set itself, you can click this, and when you play back your messages, they'll come over there, versus if you click on this, the default would be is it just comes over your actual sound card. So once you've listened to them, you can right click and you can play, save, reply forward, copy, move to a different boxes, save these files off, call back that internal extension, and so forth. All kinds of different options that you have available. Most of these are very self-explanatory. So we'll go ahead and hop out of messages.